You amazing human beings, super welcome to this part 2 video featuring the best first-person shooters demos in the Steam Next Fest. Now, if you're watching this video after the Steam Next Fest, I wouldn't worry too much. Probably like 90% of the demos featured in here are still gonna be available after the Next Fest, so you should still check them out, even if the fest is over. Now, as I said, this is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I will link it down in the pinned comment. Make sure you don't miss it. But boy, oh freaking boy, do we have some motherflipping bangers in this part 2. So let's jump into them. Let's start with something quite out of the ordinary. Something extremely gory, something that takes the word brutal to a whole new meaning. I'm of course talking about Meat Engine, which introduces us to a surrealist, distant dystopian future where all aspects of science and logic are unrecognizable. The game is inspired by Scorn, Quake, Dusk and Doom, and this is a proper modern boomer shooter with brutal weapons, levels and a difficulty. And for the deep divers, it also has some interesting lore, like this as an example. What is the Meat Engine? The Meat Engine is a planet-sized sentient biomass that scours the universe in an endless search for living matter. However, it is imperfect, and often when absorbing other alien species, they become liable for generic mutation, which often leads to their savage desire to destroy the Meat Engine itself. Thus, war ceaselessly rages across the surface and within the endless tunnels of the Meat Engine. And that, my friends, is where we found ourselves in this game. Lovely, ain't it? Now next up we got good old Davy. Now Davy X Jones impressed me on a lot of levels, especially its interesting campaign, its well done cutscenes that presents the wild story and quite unique setting during the wild fantasy of the pirate era, with a huge emphasis on fantasy. The game also looks extremely pretty. It's overall a very sweet fest, both for the eyes and the ears as you play this one. But the combat is unfortunately the one thing that in my opinion needs a bit of polish. It's got a lot of great mechanics like a grappling hook, a jump slam and a combination of both melee and ranged combat, but none of it feels very good. Now the ranged combat especially really lacks impact and a reason to actually use it. In the demo, you're just as well off using only your sword. But that said, don't believe that it's horrendous, because it is not, it's just not super good. And overall, the game has more than deserved a spot as one of the best FPS demos in this Next Fest. Now we got the tingler of the Manhunt and Condemned lovers. PIGFACE, my friend, it lets us live out the dream of being a contract killer in a gritty, dark, semi-realistic setting, taking on jobs involving a lot of killing and drugs. Yeah, that's what we dream of according to Slim himself. No, but seriously, I was mighty impressed how far this game has come since its early combat demo. This version featured in the Next Fest shows us a more advanced AI, a hub apartment, customizable loadouts, shops, interesting levels and an atmosphere that is extremely hard to create, but has been done so well here. And with all the unlockable things and hidden secrets in the demo, it offers some replayability actually, even though the levels are quite small. Now I honestly can't recommend you jump into this demo enough and simply suck in its atmosphere through your armpits. It's worth the rush, trust me. Next, we got perhaps the greatest roguelike of all time. I jumped into this one with no expectations, more than hearing one or two saying that it's pretty good. I hadn't researched much on it, I hadn't seen much of it, and most of all, I had no idea of how crazy good it was going to be. It's a roguelike set inside of a theme park where your job is to clean it up before the holiday season. It's very far from your standard theme park, however. It's more a backrooms theme park if anything else. But what makes it so bloody great is, first of all, it feels amazing to play. The movement is slick, the weapons they're super unique, and the levels and graphics just hits that sweet spot in between crazy and absolute lunatic. And as a cherry on top, it has one of the most "this is a damn fine hub world" I have ever seen. It's got its own freaking arcade. And last but not least, the actual roguelike mechanics They're based on a timer that you need to fill up with your points that you get from killing. The same points are used to acquire run-specific upgrades, so it's a fun and sweaty balance of getting time or getting stronger. It's honestly quite hard to explain this game in one short go in a list video like this, but do give this demo a shot and don't give up too fast, because the demo has a lot more to offer than first meets the eye. Now, from the creators of Perish comes a very Chronicles of Riddick inspired game. Deficit is a first-person shooter that takes us through an espionage mission to steal the reality-shifting interpolator from the sprawling research labs of Project Sidereal. Those were some hard words. Now we get to use the device to escape the grueling defensive layers of Hadrian's Wall and cross the threshold into the strangest frontiers of reality. And with us, we bring some great feeling melee weapons, interesting mechanics where you can actually 3D print your guns. And once they're fired, they also feel quite great. We get to use a lot of environmental destruction to our advantage and pick up just about anything a la Half-Life 2 style. But do know its main focus lays in the melee combat, set in smaller areas to corridors, making each single fight feel impactful, or at least in the demo. But if that sounds like your jam, then trust me, Deficit won't disappoint. As is now, the demo, it has the quality, it's well polished, and the developers sure know what they're doing when developing games. Next, we got a game that I have been longing for, and with that I mean really freaking longing for. It's a game taking place in a futuristic neon-soaked Tokyo, and we get to play as an assassin, armed with our deadly katana, as well as the ability to pick up firearms scattered around the city. Because yeah, there is usually weapons scattered around cities, didn't you know that? Well, now you know. The more you know, haha. Now we get to combine the two to turn ourselves into some proper killing machines, and when it gets really heated, we bring forth the deadly blood powers that we possess. It's a well thought out game with a ton of small mechanics like parrying bullets with your sword, different combos to perform, and enemies that will offer a good but very fair challenge. And while I do love every single bit of this game, there is one issue with it, and that is its mouse look. No matter how much I tweak the sensitivity, it just kept on feeling wrong. It doesn't feel right. It's like the horizontal look is slower than the vertical one. And it unfortunately quite kills the experience having it like that. So I simply hope that a hotfix will fix that very soon. Broskies, if you like what you're seeing, remember to hit that like and subscribe, and while you're at it, join the Discord link down in the description. There's a ton of game recommendations in there and some awesome things happening now and then with a bunch of awesome people. Now we got the Stalker MMORPG, yeah, that one, the one and only Pioneer that so many of us has been excited to test out. And well, for the most part, it does live up to the expectations. The combat actually feels good. The story, at least the prologue that I played, was interesting. Some of the scenery in the game is simply jaw-droppingly beautiful, and it's got most of the nooks and crannies to make a great first-person shooter RPG. But the demo unfortunately has some issues. There are a ton of bugs and crashes happening left and right, and at the time of writing this, they have already dropped 2 updates to the demo, so I'm feeling confident that they are trying their best to fix this issue. But will they succeed before the demo time runs out? Well, I'm not sure, but it's definitely worth to keep an eye out for. For all I know, they might have fixed it when this video drops. And now we got a game from an ex-Mod and Doom developer. High Fructose is what you get if you mix the demonic enemies from Doom with Fruit Ninja and then put the mix inside of the Vampire Survivors universe. It's a roguelike with a lot of weird twists. The goal is to kill and survive, but to do so we're given auto-firing weapons, upgrades and fruit recipes that can change the tide of battle faster than you can say High Fructose är ett ganska bra spel. It's simply worth a spin thanks to its unique concept alone, but I'm also happy to say that it reeks of quality, the gameplay feels great and it's quite interesting overall. Next we got a game that is completely a surprise to me. I hadn't seen or heard it before, but after a little bit of investigation I figured hell, it's worth a spin. So let's activate the emergency protocol. Dark energy particle synthesis failed. Now you, late and alone, must navigate a facility where science and sanity have collapsed. We get to face entities born from dark energy corruption in this very atmospheric semi-ImSim survival horror game with everything from guns to melee action, environmental puzzle and text puzzles. It's a blast with a retro coating over it. Now let's continue with another one that touches on the ImSim aspects of it all. This one a wee bit more than the previous one. PARKSIDE Decayed Souls Manipulation is a first person that chronicles the future of biomechanical subterfuge and suffering. Shoot, hack and either save or sour the future of humanity. In the dismally attractive and dystopian city of Abbotsford, California, in the awful year of 2038. It's a game with a lovely dystopian sci-fi atmosphere and an insane amount of tools at your disposal, from hacking devices to drugs. But what really impressed me with this demo is the amount of ways that you can tackle things, especially with the high-level environmental interaction and player freedom. Even in the tutorial alone, you can push on for a very long time or end it abruptly, depending on your level of experimentation. Last but absolutely not least is the fastest game in this video. Blood Thief is a speedrunning game with a nice challenge and an insane flow to it. It's all about getting the fastest time on the level, but to do so you have to master its controls, which is a lot harder than it might look, with timed boost jumps, sliding mechanics and the blood meter that you need to keep satisfied by killing. It's a cocktail of innovation and things that we have seen before, but all in all very extremely well executed. Replaying the same level 10 times to find the secrets and get an even better time doesn't even begin to spell daunting. It's insanely fun. You made it all the way to the end, didn't you? You are so freaking amazing. You know that, right? You didn't? Well, now you know, because I'm telling you. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I hope that I will see you in the next one. Slim over and out.